hear us on WBOK1230.com. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
We were clear about that, and we think it's connected because.
I'm on. Thank you. Here, you just keep pointing at me and just saying stuff.
Oh, am I talking to?
So she was talking to me. She was talking to me. Huh?
Just running them off like we're not on the air.
She just running them
Are we
off.
on the air?
We're on the air
Yeah.
now.
Your whole conversation went over.
Okay,
Did it go on there?
That's good.
It went on there? That's okay.
That's fine.
She didn't cuss
Yeah.
this time.
I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. We got guests, so we are trying to act nice, but she's a host with the most as well. Andronika Morris here with Housing First, Housing NOLA, all of those different things that.
Well, today I'm wearing my Greater New Orleans Housing Alliance hat.
Okay.
So yeah, we want to make sure
Okay. So.
because we're going to talk about electoral work, and we're going to talk about the Greater New Orleans Housing Alliance's history in the city, is because it can relate to what you want to talk about today.
So I didn't know what to talk about. I had no clue. I know what I saw, and I was trying to get the gist of it, and I was not going to be texting you saying, "What are you doing? What is political retribution? What is all this stuff?" So I said, "Here, let me text you. Come do my show today."
Okay, we can talk about it.
And you said, "Okay."
We can break it down, and
So,
we'll break it down.
Can you start from the beginning? Because I'm starting all in the middle and at the end somewhere.
Okay, so the beginning is a little bit in the back. So the beginning goes back to a year ago when the Greater New Orleans Housing Alliance led a coalition of partners and to get a housing trust fund enshrined in the charter,
Right.
and which we were successful with. To the tune of 75% of voters voting in favor of it, taking 2%
2% of the city budget
of the general operating fund. That's
Okay.
equal to the general operating fund, and deploying that for affordable housing exclusively.
2%.
2%. So last year's, for the 2024 budget, that would have been $17 million. Or sorry, for the budget that was approved in 2024, it would have been $17 million. For the budget that the city council and the administration are working on now, it would be about $14 million.
Okay.
And that money had to be governed by a process because the people were sick and tired of not seeing enough money for affordable housing, and then seeing the investments seemingly go nowhere or just take really long. And part of what drove that was the fact that in 2019, the Cantrell administration put bonds on the ballot for $500 million, the affordable housing and infrastructure bonds, and they're bragging about the fact that in 2025, so 6 years later, 90% of that money has been spent or expended. But what they don't talk about is the fact is that in the $500 million affordable housing and infrastructure bond, only $25 million was made available for affordable housing, or earmarked initially for affordable housing. And because of the way bonds work, you never get what you project, right? You say $500 million or $25 million, and with that, there was only ever $17 million. So right off the bat, you lost 32%.
Jeez.
So instead of 25 million,
17.
They got 17. And it took years. It took the city of New Orleans years to even bring in the $17 million. So the voters voted in 2019. By 2024, by 2023, when we were talking about the Housing Trust Fund, they were just getting their hands on that money. That $17 million was just coming due. So from 2019 to 2023, the city was having the dollars available.
So another 4 years.
Another 4 years, and it wasn't 25, it was 17. And there was also a lot of confusion, questions about where the money was. We couldn't get straight answers. And that all went into designing the new trust fund, because while this was also happening, we had what we called the NIF, the Neighborhood Housing Improvement Fund.
Right.
And the NIF was a tax. And it was a small tax, and it generated about $2-3 million a year. And so the argument that was made by the administration was, well, we should get rid of the NIF because we're going to give y'all this $25 million out of the $500 million. Well, one, just do some math on that. $25 million is for, and you used to getting $2.5 million a year. That's about 10 years worth of money.
Right.
And by that point, we still hadn't gotten the 25 million, right?
So
but
was this a projection?
There was a projection. They were like, but still get rid of it. Go ahead and like y'all should get rid of it. But they never said that. They did things to undermine it, but that was the sentiment that they wanted the NIF to go away. And unfortunately, there was a
was that a good thing for the NIF to go away?
It wasn't, but it was. There was a lot of reasons why voters, because we only lost by 1,000 votes. 1,000 voters said when it was put to the folks again to renew the NIF, only the difference was about 1,000 votes. So saying no, and part of it was you think about what was going on back then, and this is 2021, people were struggling. Right. COVID and everything, and it was the smallest millage we had, smallest tax that we had.
Right.
It was still a tax, and we didn't want to increase the tax. But we also knew that we needed to have our own money to be investing in housing,
but
right?
This was the time where everybody was like, we're not going to roll forward our millages because folks are struggling.
That's right.
We see what the pandemic has done.
Right.
So we saw all that.
Right.
And I think the only people at that time that did roll for it was the school board.
Yes. Well, yes. That was a little bit after, but yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that came off, and so now all of a sudden we didn't have any other money, and they're still trying to pull this bond financing in. So we spent some time talking to community, figuring out like what is it that people thought about this. We heard very clearly from voters, from community, they didn't trust the city council and they didn't trust the mayor when it came to managing money. We learned that in 2023 that they did not trust the mayor, nor did they trust the city council when it came to the money. They felt like the money was not being managed correctly. And again, the average person doesn't necessarily understand the ins and outs of the budgeting process, but they know what's happening in their lives.
Right.
And they know that these 8 people, the city council and the mayor that they elected, have responsibilities for the quality of their life, right?
Okay.
And so we said, okay, we actually put together a memo and sent it to the council and said, y'all got a trust problem. And if you want to address this issue, New Orleans has got to put some of its own money in. But guess what? The people are willing to do that. The people are willing to do that. The people are willing to put some of their own money in. They need a few things. They don't trust y'all. And they need some things, some assurances. There needs to be some trustworthy partners involved. It needs to be transparent, because trust but verify. That's the only time I ever quote Ronald Reagan.
I was getting ready to say, when did you become a Reagan person?
That's the only time I will ever quote Ronald Reagan. Trust but verify. And the council responded, and they first created a housing trust fund envelope, if you will, like a place to put money. And that's where the first bond proceeds went into that, right? And they spent almost 2 years trying to figure out how to spend that money, and it was a mess. And we also used that when we were designing the ballot initiative, right? What would go on the ballot, and what the voters would want to see, the process they would want to see, is we needed to get clear about where all the money was.
Okay.
Right? Like the council would make the decision.
But don't that sound familiar?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Like, you're trying your best.
We were ahead of this nonsense. Like we were actually. I said that in January to the council, to their faces, that thank God the voters voted for the trust fund, because y'all don't know what's going on with this money.
Right.
And we knew that with the housing money. We knew that with the housing money. We had no idea it was, to the tune of $57,000 for overtime. Bad. But we knew it was bad with the housing money. And so what the advisory committee that was established would require and would do is get the information from the various partners and use that to educate community, use it to educate the advisory committee members and use it to educate the council and the administration so that when the trust fund was passed, when the 2% was passed,
Mhm.
they would be able to, we would be making smart decisions.
So
So-
me being who I am, I'm
Yes.
thinking that when it passed,
Hmm.
when there's a new budget and everybody says, okay, cool, we got a new budget, I'm thinking automatically that the first parts of this budget, we're going to put in that special fund that's going toward housing.
Yes, but the caveat, because of the way the rulings work, the timing works,
Mhm.
the first dollars that fall under that won't be available until 2026. So the trust fund is protected from all of this nonsense because the shortfalls for 2025 have to be contained in 2025. That the money that's supposed to be put on the side comes out of 2026 revenues.
Right.
And to your point, it comes off the top.
So when 2026 we start that budget,
And we're in that budget process now.
right?
But when you mean calendar year, when January,
Calendar year,
that
yeah.
money is
Right.
realized the
Right.
way they do that. Yes, that money is supposed to go
Because it's got to be approved by December.
right December 1st. So the council is working with the administration now to set up the budget and to say the advisory committee has met. We've gotten information. We were able to figure out where all the money went.
Where'd
you
it go?
uh, it's some of it's missing, meaning, well, it's been expended, but it took too damn long. And some of it is still hiding in sofa cushions and is actually going to be used probably to dig them out of this hole.
But the part that's missing.
They're finding it. They're finding it. And most of that's not housing money. It's money that they tried to put towards housing, and they made commitments. We've made sure that they've been honored, and that the projects that were jeopardized by some of this are going to be moving forward, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
that worked.
And the 2% of housing.
So the 2%, none of that's still involved yet because that money doesn't get
Till
realized
26.
until 26,
Right.
nor does it start to get spent until 26.
You hope.
So- We hope. So we're putting together that, but we've made the advisory committee, of which I am the co-chair of. It's put the recommendations together. We spent months going over this with community, getting their input. We submitted our report. The council met today and had already received the report and then authorized a response back to the advisory committee. The advisory committee is going to be meeting next week. And we're going to hear their responses, and we're going to decide what we are going to recommend. The council makes the ultimate decision, but the advisory committee is going to continue to go through its process and assess
So let's
pieces. So what happened?
let me go to, because I want to say, when I turned on my television
Today or yesterday?
today,
Okay, because there was challenges yesterday too. Like
I didn't
yesterday,
hear yesterday, but I saw, because somebody done already put up the whatchamacallit from yesterday.
yes,
but
yes, they are. It's connected.
because I did see, because Chantrice Dow with Home Again, she told me she was going.
Mm-hmm,
I said, okay. So when I turned it on, she said, baby, it was a mess yesterday.
Yeah.
It was?
Yes.
Okay, let's start there.
So so we still got to go back a little bit to set the
Okay.
stage for yesterday. So Ganoha has been working for almost 20 years, right? Again, part of one of the things that Ganoha does, and that's why we want to be clear, I'm here in Ganoha's role, is Ganoha does a scorecard on elections.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Housing NOLA does a scorecard on the city state of housing. Ganoha, as a 501c4,
Mm-hmm.
recommends, who will put housing first as an elected official. Been doing it for years. And after this last election cycle, we started a campaign to talk about Prop 1 and to push back on some of the one of those ballot initiatives. But we also, on October 23rd, bizarrely, out of nowhere, J.P. Morrell and Freddie King introduced an ordinance to remove Ganoha from the Housing Trust Fund Advisory Committee
Oh.
on October 23rd. And what we see is a clear political retaliation against Ganoha for saying that for the election, despite the fact that they won.
That's okay. So
So that's
so
what-
now
yeah.
this is making sense
Yeah,
to me
yeah.
now.
So that was
as
on
you
the
explain it.
23rd, right? That's on the 23rd.
But the reason I'm saying I wanted you to come to explain it,
Mhm.
if you didn't get it from the beginning,
No, we didn't know until Monday.
There's so much stuff that has happened since what this Ganoha stuff.
Right,
I was lost.
right. That's
so
right.
I was trying to figure it out. That's,
That's
why I was
right.
like,
No,
I
that's
know
why-
you
yeah.
can explain it to the whole public.
Right. That's right. That's right. So the
So
trust
why did they want to remove Ganoha?
again, we think it's political retribution because of the election. Because
Both of them won.
yeah, but we pointed out the fact that they didn't put housing first. They did not get good grades from us.
Oh,
No, they did not get good. They did not get good grades.
oh, it's
Yeah.
so what? Okay, so
Yes.
what they're basically doing is saying, now I'm back in the office. I got you.
Right.
I'm gonna get you.
Right.
But it is what it is, right?
It is what it is. And again, this is also it's a distraction, right? The council is in the midst of
But you called them out.
yes, but that also is that we're calling them out about the fact that part of the complications that they're dealing with, they're part of the challenges with the budget. They have put things in place that jeopardize the trust fund. We believe that they are going to underfund it or defund it with their actions, and so we've been very aggressive about that as well.
But how can they defund it if it's an ordinance?
Because they are seeking to substitute general operating funds with bond financing.
Mm. And you don't know how much money you're really going to get from the
Right.
bond financing.
Right.
I'm telling you, I'm a little slow.
That's right. And
And as one of my listeners say, I ain't the sharpest knife in the box, but I had to get to you. I knew who to ask.
right. Well, that's why we had to go back a little bit. And then also, too, with the bond financing isn't as simple as they think, which the council,
Right.
no.
Right.
The governor and the bond commission have something to say about whether or not you will even be allowed to float bonds. So the bond financing they want to use to substitute, Jeff Landry could say, no, y'all can't do that.
Right. He still can say it.
He can still say that. He can
Right.
still say, I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
And that's why
And that means y'all gonna
we would, yeah. So what,
renege on your
and
obligations and,
they'll get-
nobody's getting paid.
and they'll say, well, Jeff Landry did it.
Right. And I got somebody to blame it
Yes,
on.
that's
But for the beginning, the persons that I need to blame it on are the folks that have spent the money.
right. And also, again, this doesn't have anything to do with the way it's set up right now because 2026 money isn't here yet.
Right.
It's going to come in. This money needs to come off the top. You're going to have to make uncomfortable choices. This was the purpose of the trust fund. The failure of the council and administration to put housing first, to prioritize it, like they kept kicking that $17 million down the road,
Mhm.
rolling it over, never deploying it. This would stop that, right? Because you're not looking at bond financing that you may or you can or can't deploy.
So
You're-
what y'all basically did was put in play something to say, okay, I can show you better than I can tell you. You know I'm ignorant. So you all got together and said, okay, cool, let's put something on the ballot.
Yeah. Well, no, they put this on the ballot and we're fighting it. Or the trust fund, we put the trust fund on the ballot, but now
Right. That's what I was talking about.
the new,
Y'all put
from last year. Exactly. Yes, we worked and
to get this done so that there can't be.
and we got it. We worked to get it
and
passed.
got it passed.
This community stood up and said, "What y'all have listened.
Right.
It's been communicated, and it's going to get passed." And we had very little help from elected officials. Leslie Harris was the only councilperson to really.
I see she
go-
cheerleaded everybody that came up to the microphone today. She was cheerleading. I agree. Thank you very much. Thank you. But JP,
Mhm. Councilmember Morrell does okay. What about him?
put it in to sabotage this,
No.
to get this taken care of.
The entire council voted for bond one, but to put this Prop 1 on. The entire council voted to put this up. So we have, and this has been an issue. We have
Who wrote it?
the administration,
Who is?
the mayor, and the mayor. They put it forward, but the council had to vote to put it on the ballot, and they voted unanimously to put it on the ballot.
Okay, so now you got it on the ballot. So what are we calling the retribution part of this?
So we have been saying do not vote for Prop 1, Proposition 1.
And Proposition 1
is the bond financing scheme to replace the general operating fund with bond financing.
right.
And we have been saying, do not vote for that, 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 very aggressively, because we think it's a threat to the trust fund and to the process.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we feel like that this is retribution to that. And again, so what you saw yesterday was a distraction, right? Yesterday was a very big distraction, right? Yesterday was supposed to be Housing Day.
Right.
And instead of doing Housing Day, the council decided to throw a fit and delay Housing Day.
And y'all were full up in there.
We're full and delay Housing Day to call me down to answer questions about some baseless accusations, and delay them getting the information about what they needed to do to talk about investing the trust fund money.
So some bullcrap.
Yep. And and that's what happened yesterday. And part of it was connected to this scheme being exposed, that they were also trying to penalize us about removing us from the trust fund. So some people, there were emails and texts going around calling people about this and saying, and then someone put their cell phone numbers in a text and sent it to, which was interesting. I got the text from Councilwoman Harris. And so I was like, where's the text?
Huh?
Oh.
What did he say?
Keep talking. So yeah, I got the text from Councilwoman Harris yesterday morning. That was the first I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, this is really dangerous. And I'm like, we didn't send this out. So
Oh, she thought y'all sent it out.
Right. And so that's why they wanted to distract from that and again, kind of stage this big distraction, because I wasn't slated to speak yesterday, because I had been told that because of the way we were pushing on Prop 1, Councilwoman, that there was some thought that some of the council members wouldn't hear well from me.
What?
So yeah, so I was like, that's fine. We don't have to be there. I mean, we got team members, partners, all those people who showed up for Housing Day, and handling it that way. It's like, so when there was I got a phone call. I intended to be there for part of it, but I got a phone call that they were waiting and to stage this tableau, and we wanted to keep it focused on Housing Day as because this is what's most important. And this is what we want the people to be focused on, and we want the council to be focused on. Part of the challenges that we've seen that's been illuminated with this budget shortfall is that they have not been getting good information. They've not been processing the information and connecting it to the financial decisions that they are making.
Do you see how I'm looking at you?
Yes.
For real?
Yes.
I was waiting for you to go. I'm just playing. No,
that's what happened.
Andronika, I mean, this is so childish.
I don't disagree.
These are grown folks that are making decisions, life-changing decisions.
Right, exactly.
And they playing games.
Right. That's right.
For retribution.
Right. It was political retribution as political retribution, because part of it was having me come down and getting into that. I mean, it was, and again, we were answer questions. We wanted them to focus on what they needed to focus on. The day did not go the way that it needed to anyway. There had been some changes, unfortunately.
So you can see why when I'm just turning on the broadcast from City Hall, and I see you walk up to the microphone and say political retribution, yada yada, and I'm just trying to make sure that it's not. And thank you very much. And I'm like, what?
Right.
So where are we?
So where we are is that Prop 1 needs to be defeated, so that
and Proposition
1 is the attempt to swap out to substitute general operating dollars for bond financing. It needs to be defeated.
Mm-hmm.
That's early voting on Saturday, and then the election is next Saturday on the 15th. And we'll see how that goes. We also want to make sure that the council, regardless of the outcome of the election, honors the will of the people and guarantees that they will not use this crisis to
Say we're
not
not gonna fund it.
and say we're not going to fund it. Now, again, the worry about Prop 1 is it gives them a handy excuse to blame it on Jeff Landry. What we also don't want them doing is saying, well, we don't have enough money. You don't have enough money for you're borrowing money for 2025. You have shortfalls, all these things like that. Again, the will of the people was you're going to run us our money first.
Right.
For housing, you're gonna take our money off the top.
So no matter what amount of money is coming into
whatever
the city.
the percentage is, exactly, and that was the way the trust fund was designed.
Right.
One of the objections to the trust fund, to that 2% being guaranteed, was people were like, well, what if something happens? And our argument is there is not a crisis that this city has ever faced that doesn't involve housing. So if the revenue is lowered, it's 2%. It's not 17 million or 22 million or 2.5. It's 2%. So if revenue is less, then the money is less. But
no matter what it is.
But if there is a loss of revenue, housing's involved.
Right. And we still gonna get our 2%.
We still need our 2% because we need to invest in housing to help address the crisis. And this crisis is no different. The 2025 financial shortfall, one of the big pieces everybody likes talking about, the overtime and the other shenanigans and things like that. The thing that people miss is big part of the problem. So you spent money, you weren't sure where you were going to get the money back from, right? This whole tourism thing don't work the way everybody thought it did, right? That's interesting.
A lot of one-time money was used.
But you also didn't get back. You didn't cover your costs, right? Associated with these activities. And you spend money on other stuff too, because $160 million still isn't that's not just overtime.
Well, look, overtime was what, 40 million?
45
million. Same thing I said on yesterday. I said, okay, cool. I see that they blamed this on 45, 40. I said 40, so you said 45 million.
I'm pretty sure.
But it's 160 million that's missing. So even if I took that 45 million out of there, I still got over $100 million that we need to answer for.
That's right. So there's a lot of problems with this. The other issue is the shortfall is also caused by loss of revenue in property taxes. At least $11 million short. So property taxes, homeowners who can't pay their property taxes because their insurance costs and their utility costs are killing them.
Yep.
Landlords who can't pay their property taxes because their apartments are empty, because their tenants can't pay the rent.
Yep.
Because they can't pay the utilities, and the insurance costs are driving the rental costs. So again, as we talk about, housing is also at the heart of this crisis. And so taking some of the revenue for 2026 and investing in the way that the advisory committee recommended, which is not long-term projects. One of the things that the $17 million eventually has gone into, much of it has gone into long-term projects, some of which have started this year, but we won't see units until 2027. If we're lucky.
2027?
2027. If we're lucky. Some of them are going to come online in 2028. Some of them haven't even started yet, so it'll be 28, 29. But and that's strategy. That's why this money needed to be when you're talking about it, you need to understand what's going on. You need to assess the market. You need to know what's going on, what the needs are. And that's why the recommendations from the advisory committee are this money goes out the door as quickly as possible in meeting the pressing needs.
So it can never be said we lost it.
Right. That's right. And it could address some of the short-term needs.
Right.
So the recommendations are fortified roofs, which will help bring down those insurance costs, and helping to rehab homes, that rental homes, so that renters who can come back and be able to pay their rent and their landlords will be able to pay their property taxes.
Is that fortified roof something that's going to help, really?
Yes.
Okay.
The data is clear. The data is very clear, and we need New Orleans. We need these investments at every level. As you know, we can talk about the insurance market and how it needs better oversight, and they're always crying poor. And when you dig into it, they're making billions of dollars.
Right.
They're not as broke.
But they're making billions of dollars off the backs of poor people.
And people, everybody. And so, and one of the things about it, they're shifting money around so that they can not hide their profits, but make sure that they are not as exposed as they would like to be.
Yeah, that's another word for hiding your profits. Mm-hmm.
So there's a number of things that are going on. They're denying claims. We have a nonpartisan group that has done an assessment of Louisiana called Weiss Reports, where they have found last year almost 45% of claims were denied immediately.
No ifs, ands, and buts.
Yep. Nope. You're not getting it. You're not getting it.
The minute you do all the work, take the pictures,
you paid your money,
get up on the roof.
Almost 45% have been denied.
Denied.
And it's almost half. Almost half of insurance claims last year were denied.
Right.
And so what does that leave the state of those houses? And that's also why when you remove all of the shenanigans from the conversation and our failure to invest properly and make sure there's enough money to help people get back on their feet and all of those different things, you look at, you take that away, take who's responsible away, and you go, the insurance companies are going to go, well, this is really risky. They've done nothing about climate change, right? No substantive progress has been made. And that's not just our fault. When I'm saying the royal us, right? Nothing's been done about climate.
I don't think that, but it does make me say with all the shenanigans that's going on.
But but it's
makes me ask the question. Then what's the coercion between maybe them and maybe somebody that makes that decision?
Oh yeah, no. Like our insurance commissioner is he's a former insurance agent.
Right.
His family fortune was made in insurance. So definitely there, but he ran unopposed.
Yep.
So not a whole lot we can do about that until he's running up. He'll be up. That office will be up for re-election or open in 2027. We got to ride it out a little bit. And that's why we've also been pushing. We've got our champions in the legislature on insurance who have been introducing for the last few years bill after bill after bill, and everybody agrees. The one good thing is everybody actually does agree that the fortified roofs is the path forward. The problem is, much like what we see here locally, is getting the state to coordinate and lead an investment strategy that would actually work. The analysis is very clear because I mentioned like the risk. Part of it is, despite what I was saying earlier, is despite the insurance company's responsibility and culpability, a 45% denial rate, managing and setting it up and always crying poor mouth and all of these different things and bedeviling people. That's definitely responsibility to the risk. But when you look at it dispassionately, you ignore who's involved, who's responsible. We're a risky bet.
I mean, but everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that. But so that's why the insurance is so high. Like there's no conversation to be had about them doing it because we're special. We're New Orleans. We're Louisiana. Y'all should want to help us. They're like, y'all are at risk of hurricanes. These houses are raggedy. Y'all don't have a lot of money. Your infrastructure is challenging. So this is what it costs to rebuild your house. And again, tariffs, construction costs, all of these. Some of that's not even.
That's not even in the game.
Yeah, right.
That's not even considered.
Right. We don't consider it, but they do. They do.
Right.
And so they look at all that and say, this is what it costs to replace that house. This is what because of the risk, this is how much we have to charge you for insurance, because it's likely that you will be knocking on our door saying, I need your help. I need your help.
But the average person can't even afford that.
No, exactly. And that's why, we have Louisiana Citizens, Insurance of Last Resort, our public insurance company that is run under the same rules. That's why that insurance is so expensive.
High as giraffe ass.
Correct.
But I'm just looking at the point of, we have said we're going to fortify roofs. We got this Mr. Go. We got all this stuff, but the insurance rate has not gone down.
So, because we haven't made the investments in fortified roofs. So simultaneously, what has happened is the building sciences funded by the insurance companies. The insurance companies want to figure out how to mitigate risk because they make money when there's less risk.
Right.
So the insurance companies help to invest to design this fortified roof program, to the technology on how it works and how it will absolutely mitigate risk and allow them to lower the cost. This has also been one of the big tension points because we have been pushing, along with State Senator Royce Duplessis, he's been leading on this issue, is that if you get a fortified roof, you should get a guaranteed discount.
No doubt about it.
And the insurance companies have been like, well, no, not that. Even
But you're pushing it.
Even though they're pushing it, they invented the
Right,
technology, and
you still want to keep my rate high.
right. And the insurance the commissioner is going along with them. He's like, we don't want to mandate it. We don't want to mandate it. That's going to push them out. And it's like, why can't we mandate something that you know works? And we're not talking about the senator has been very reasonable. We're talking about a 20% discount. And the insurance commissioner has been saying, we were on a panel with him last week, and he was talking about, well, the average is 20%, but an average is different than
Right.
a minimum.
Because you could go down to 14 or 10.
Dude, some people are going down to 5.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's not
yes.
That's not really good.
That's not really helpful. And 20% isn't a lot. If your insurance has, the listening audience is probably dealing with this.
If we're talking about $100, you're gonna take 20%. I still got to pay 80.
Right. A lot of people's insurance is tripled. So your insurance went from
So now
$2,000 to $6,000. We're gonna take 20% off the $6,000. That's breathing room.
Right.
But it's not you back at 2.
Right.
And that's what's been that, and they won't do that. The insurance commissioner won't make them do that. So that's part of the battle. But we also still have to, while we're continuing that fight, we have to get some more money into the fortified roof program because we know it.
But I haven't seen any of these commissioners make the insurance companies do nothing.
No.
It's like you got a title, and then you know how to BS your way through a conversation when people got questions, because I may not be versed in all of this.
Yep.
That's a shame.
Yep.
All right, I got to do the ID. All right, WBOK 1230 AM New Orleans. All right, there we go. So we did the ID.
So back to the fortified roofs. So one of the challenges is with the fortified roofs is that the insurance commissioner, because we're like, this idea makes sense. What's the target, right? What's the goal, right? So you got the 20% that you would get if you had a fortified roof, or that 22% average that people are getting.
Right.
If you got a fortified roof on your own, that's you being alone. What's the tipping point that talks about risk really being mitigated? Because risk is also not just your house. It's also the fact your house could be perfect. It could be the strongest house ever. The raggedy house across the street falls over onto your house.
Onto your house.
Your insurance company's like, yeah, that's a risk. Your rates are going to go up.
So now your rates are going to go up because you still have risks that surround your fortified roof house.
That's right. That's right.
Crazy.
So that's
you
right.
You can't win.
And that's the point. So how do we win?
You can't win.
Well, you can. This is math. This is math. This really is math. So what can we win? So then the legislative auditor has done the research. The insurance commissioner has signed off on this. If a quarter of the residents in Louisiana have fortified roofs, we can see a risk reduction.
But not if they're not all on my street.
Right. Well, no, just because it's enough to.
So it's almost like, pandemic. Everybody got
the
herd immunity.
Herd immunity. Exactly. Because
we getting hurricane immunity.
You get to 25%, you're going to be enough.
I don't believe them.
Well, no. Well, we want to do it because making your home fortified.
But I don't believe the insurance company is going to say, sure.
Yes, I don't.
They're going to find something else.
Well, but that's why we also got to make sure we're holding the insurance commissioner accountable in 2027.
What?
Or replace him.
Hello?
Or replace him.
Hello? That's like the easiest. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It ends up being the easiest job that you can possibly get. You got enough money in your coffers because you done got all this money from the people that you're supposed to be regulating.
Yep.
And you build a whole campaign about how great you are, and then everybody votes for you.
Well, again,
even if you ain't crap.
I was about to say he ran unopposed.
Right.
Yeah. And no, I mean, again, this gets back to the earlier conversation because that's exactly what we've been talking about for the last few years with our electoral work is making sure that there are options, that people understand what the difference is between the candidates when it comes to these issues. Because the talk is cheap. What have you
but
done?
we're tired of the talk.
No, and that's why we
Not only with the insurance folks, but I can even go back because we're in two different conversations
we are.
now. But I'm even talking about the folks back into
the council.
the council.
Well, no, but that's also how we got here, because we've been making it our business to talk about these solutions and to talk about how well these folks implement these solutions. And if they don't do it well, when they do things like,
so if your grading system is set up, do you look at it and say, okay, look, it's coming out,
yes,
and everybody, because I know you
or
got
they participate. They participate. They have to participate in the process. They have to sit down and talk to community. That's a part of it. They have to explain what they've done.
And how does that work?
Sometimes people don't participate.
Thank you.
And they get Fs.
So, do they care?
They care today, because today, you saw the person who got an F
Right.
talk today. One of the people,
But he was very, very cordial towards you. You don't think so?
But he didn't speak to me. He was talking about Shayna.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't about me. That wasn't about me. He was talking about.
I thought he was talking about you.
No, he was talking about Shayna. When he talked about her.
Oops.
Yeah. I think he was also talking about Ganoha when he talked to, when you listen to the comments.
So where do we go from here? Let's go back to the council. Where do we go from here to make sure that this takes place? I know that we saw the vote and everything, but I just don't trust them because they come up with another ordinance.
So we haven't voted on anything yet. Nothing's happened. What happened today, as it relates to the trust fund, was Ganoha was removed from the advisory committee, so we're not going to be able to reappoint. My term ends in about 4 months. So at that point, we'll roll off, and Councilmember Morrell will get to appoint someone else. Or I'm not really sure how the council presidency stuff works. If
Helena takes off.
Well, no, I mean Councilmember, because they will be gone by that point. It will be shifting.
Right.
So the other at-large seat will be Councilmember-elect Matt Willard. I don't know if they trade.
Right.
And so I don't know if Morrell is here now. So will the trade go to Matt Willard?
As he is inaugurated.
Right. And so will he become the council president? I don't know.
Why don't you talk to him?
But he was on the show a couple weeks ago. We could talk to him. I just haven't. We haven't.
Just talk to him in the sense that you'll stay.
Well, no, because they passed the piece saying that it had to be that Morrell, that the council president will pick from an organization that operates a community land trust. But we don't want to focus on that.
A community land trust.
There's
only like one or two.
We don't want to focus on that piece. We want to focus on, you asked the question, what's next? And what's next is that next week there's going to be an advisory committee member. We're going to hear the recommendations from the council. We're going to talk about those. The advisory committee will weigh in one more time and send back what we think of the council recommendations, and then they will vote. We also need to be making sure, again, to my point, that they guarantee the 2%. The budget closes on December 1st. What needs to happen is that the Housing Trust Fund dollars are allocated and approved with general operating funds, not bond financing.
Not bond financing.
Not bond financing.
Because bond financing does not give you a stable number.
Correct. Nor does it guarantee you're going to have money. We need to guarantee that there's going to be money. We need to make sure that next year, when they start running these programs and we start talking about fortified roofs and helping small mom and pop landlords bring their properties back online, so people, the thousands of folks who've been pushed out of this city have somewhere to stay and they can afford it, we can bring online in 1 year a couple hundred homes and apartments.
You believe it?
I know it.
No, not the issue. I'm sorry. But do you believe that they're going to go forward? Part of the reason we were opposing Prop 1 is we were trying to box them in to make sure that they don't pull any shenanigans. I'm sorry.
That's why we're saying no to Prop 1. And again, there's going to be, the voters are going to have to stay engaged, and we're going to have to be on top of them about this.
I think that, this is a respectful conversation that everybody needs to be participating in.
Mm-hmm.
And if I got to sit down and call you in here every week to make sure that I can figure out what's going on, because I know I'm slow on this issue. I'm slow. I'm like slow on this one. But I'm trying to make sure that what I saw today, I can at least get my head around.
Right.
And now you're telling me that this is political retribution.
Right. And a distraction from the failure to address these issues, right? That there's a, it's been handy. You know, the council and the mayor have been at odds for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
And while looking like performing at Kabuki Theater, made it look like they were fighting each other when they were both failing to.
Kabuki Theater.
That was some Kabuki Theater. You know, them play fights and everything like that. Yeah, they were play fighting.
That's why I was laughing.
They were play fighting. They were play fighting. Clearly, they were play fighting because, again, we $160 million in the hole.
Yeah.
And you know, again, we're everybody's may not be clear about everything, but people know, like from Schoolhouse Rock, the 3 branches of government, who's responsible for what. And there's a lot of blame to go around, obviously, and we're a little short on culpability. We're a little short on leadership to stepping up and saying, "Okay, my bad."
But I think everybody depends on you.
Not everybody.
Well, I mean, a lot of particulars. I'm talking about agencies as well as individuals depend on you to give us the 411 because you're not gonna pull no punches, and I think everybody understands that.
Well, we got more people helping with that too. Like you got different partners that do it too, and we need to make sure that happens because that's one of the issues. Is that's also why political retribution seems like a solution, because if they think it's just us, then that you know, they try that, and we need to make sure that they understand it's not just us, it's not just me.
Back up. Okay. All right. So yeah, and the internet went off. That's why I'm looking at this and I'm like, what the hell? And then we got the circle. But I've gotten to the point now where I got to have my people that I have to depend on. I didn't call nobody else. I'm calling Andronika, and then I know that I can get a better breakdown of what this is. Because when I hear political retribution, and they didn't disagree.
Well,
I didn't hear it.
I think Councilmember Thomas tried to.
Did he?
Yes. Well, but actually he kind of confessed to it. That he was upset about his scorecard and his candidate scorecard.
Yeah.
So he kind of confessed to it, actually.
That's not confessing to it, though, is it? Is it?
He said he was mad about his scorecard.
If he was mad about his scorecard, maybe he thought he should have got better.
Yes, but that's what he thought.
Well, I'd like to see what those scorecards look like, too.
Oh, yeah, they're online. They're on our, you got our Facebook page.
Okay.
They're there.
And what do you expect? All of them to be hundreds? What do you?
No. We grade A, B, C, D, E, and not A, B, C, D, F. Like, you know, so we'd like to see not Fs, no Ds, Cs, A's, and Bs. It would be, and again, it's also about what the people expect, right? One of the reasons when we work with community to design this scorecard process, but it's like a grade school card. Yeah, yes, and so the letter grades are about whether or not the folks are ready to commit. And a big part of that is you can't get higher than a C without coming in and talking to community about what you've done and what you will do.
All right, on that report card, I got
Yeah.
this question now. What would you like to be on that report card from the folks that's going to make it to an A or B?
I mean, they got to come.
Other than talking to the people.
Yeah, no, the platform is we lay out an extensive platform of policies that have been passed and not managed correctly. Like number one with the bullet for this year was, are you going to protect the trust fund?
Right here in your face.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, we don't pussyfoot around. Like, what's straightforward? Are you going to, the city has put forward, the administration and the council have put forward the Healthy Homes program, and they never properly funded big sections of it. Are you going to put some money towards that? Are you going to the city last year? The council got us in a bind where they made changes to zoning that made us ineligible to pursue millions of dollars in grant funding. Are you going to stop doing that?
Right.
And they have those conversations with those elected officials. And one of the things that has to happen is it's not just enough for you to say to the community, because I don't sit in those conversations. Those conversations are done with volunteers, community members, because what we're trying to make happen here is these folks really need to understand who they're accountable to. Because it can't just be me. They're accountable to the men and women and children of this city. We have entrusted them with the power to absolutely make or break our everyday lives.
And they just run over it.
Correct. And a lot of it, that's where accountability becomes a real issue. It's because what we see a lot, and particularly like what's happening at the federal level, is like the worst case scenario of this. That
Really?
you have a power hungry, power mad person who just wants to do whatever.
Right.
But we have shades of that
Here,
locally. And certainly at the state, but also not just at the state, but at the city level, right? Where the people not wanting to be questioned, and also not wanting to take responsibility. We know that this is a big job. We know that it's a tough job, but we also know that it can be done. And you kind of campaign for it, right? If you didn't want it.
If you didn't want it, then you shouldn't even campaign
and
for it.
And part of it has to be explaining yourself to the people who rely on you, whether or not they voted for you. They are still your constituents. They are still, you still have an obligation to them. And, so that's part of this. And I know it seems a little naive, a little idealistic, but one of the things with housing is that despite what everybody thinks about housing is actually one of the easiest things to address.
Probably is. I mean, because it's right in your face.
And it's a basic need everybody meets, and it's tangible. It's not about vibes.
Something I can put my hands on.
Right. A 2x4 does not care whether you're fat, bald, short, gay,
unless I'm
straight.
hitting you with it.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. The 2x4 that builds your house.
Yeah, all right. I'm not going to hit you, bro.
It doesn't care.
If I'm busting your over the
and
head with a 2x4.
I don't think the 2x4 cares then. You care about you. We still care about the 2x4, but the 2x4 don't care.
But if I'm busting you over the head.
Well, yeah, and instead of putting a roof over your head.
There you go. We're going to bust you
in the head with the 2x4
with
instead
the 2x4.
of housing. But
I bet you didn't hear then.
So, but that's the thing. So so why are you hitting me with the 2x4 instead of helping me build a home?
Because you ain't listening.
Right.
You get bust over the head.
That's right.
With a 2x4. At the end, though, I'm not going to hold you for a longer period of time. But for the audience, what do you want them to pay attention to, know, and show up?
Right. So there's going to be a meeting next Wednesday. Advisory committee meeting for the Housing Trust Fund is next Wednesday. That is Wednesday, November the 12th. At 11:30 is at City Council Chambers. We need people participating. You can watch it online. You'll be able to make comments ahead of time. We want to make sure that people know what's going on and how things are going. We also need people. Early voting ends on Saturday. We need people to vote no on Prop 1, no to the switch out, no to the substitution, no to the risking the trust fund, risking these dollars on a scheme that is not going to work.
Political retribution.
We need the folks to show up for that. We need them making their feelings known. And we also want to make sure that regardless of how the vote goes, that the council understands that they must guarantee these dollars. They must guarantee these dollars. If they put this on the ballot, and if people authorize it, that doesn't give them the authority to just hand things over to. If Jeff Landry says no, that's not good enough.
Right.
They must guarantee these dollars. They must guarantee these dollars.
And this is on the ballot.
And it's on the ballot. So, number one, vote no. Make it real simple. You must guarantee the dollars. And also, we got to make sure that if Prop 1 doesn't pass, that they move forward. The right now the dollars are coming out of general fund. Fantastic, great. And there's some confusion about this, right? With Prop 1, there are people going around spreading some misinformation to try to get Prop 1 passed, saying, "Oh no, it's going to be extra." And then the mayor-elect is running a campaign where she is saying her people are saying, "Oh no, this $45 million will be used to substitute for the general operating funds for the next 3 years if you vote for it. And don't you want to vote for it because you know we have a financial crisis? And don't you want guaranteed money?" I heard this myself last night from one of her people. The money's guaranteed. Y'all are actually going around saying bond financing is guaranteed when Jeff Landry's got y'all going up there with your.
You don't know if you're gonna get it.
Yeah, don't know if you're going to get it, and don't know how much it's going to be.
And 0 from 0 is 0.
Right, that's right. But you're standing up and saying it's guaranteed.
That's not true.
Yeah,
because you don't even know how much it is.
No, you don't know what the yield. You don't know what the. I mean, and when we get into that, the complexities of that, in 2019 when the bonds were floated, we had a decent rating. COVID happened, so that hit us a little bit. But we had a decent bond rating, and we weren't in financial freefall. The bond rate. One thing that's happening, and it's a market issue too, right? Jefferson Parish, people don't like to talk about this. Jefferson Parish lost,
worse than we are.
They lost their bond rating completely.
Yep.
That will be an impact on us.
But have you heard it?
Well, yeah, we know it, but yeah.
You know it because that's a business that you're in.
Does everybody talking about it?
But did you see the breaking news?
No, that's right. And how they lost it.
No, I don't know that part.
They didn't turn in their paperwork.
That's what they've been talking about, how far they've been with
they're behind with their paperwork.
Their paperwork.
Yeah, so they lost their bond rating because they didn't turn in paperwork. As a result of everything that's going on, New Orleans' bond rating has been downgraded. Yep. We are in a financial crisis that if they take too much money out of the rainy day fund, that will be a further bond reduction. And, got to be said, the mayor's been indicted for financial malfeasance.
And that's going to start up pretty soon.
Right. I mean, and so again, what are the checks and balances? We heard today what the state is willing to do to help bail us out, which is if they give us some of the bond revenue to pay the salaries, and I hope to God they do, they're going to make them, there is going to be some oversight, right? And the money's going to go in a lockbox, and it can only be used for salaries, and they're going to have to account for every nickel. Yeah. That's spent. It can't be spent on any other things. Yeah. And so and so you're gonna go ask people to borrow money. Yeah. And what happens is a lot of people don't understand is that the people who the bond, this is not magic. Wall Street, this is an investment opportunity for Wall Street. That's how bonds are sold as an investment opportunity. So people buy them because they're steady and they're guaranteed because it's governments who have taxes and things like that. But if you are not as steady, that's why the bond rating is so important. It's just like a credit rating. So if you're riskier,
just like I'm going to buy a house,
right? Your interest rates are higher. You get to borrow less money if you're riskier because they want some assurances on. Like, I'm not going to give you all of this money. I might not get my money back.
Right. And your insurance rate, your percentage rate is going to go.
It's going to go like
sky high.
In 2019, we had on $25 million, we got hit with a 32% reduction. Oof. So what's going to be now? What is going to be now? What is it going to be now? And so to suggest that this money is guaranteed is ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. It's incredibly irresponsible. And again, it would be better if it was extra. Mm-hmm. So we get a little extra, okay, then we put that on top. But the people of New Orleans understood how critical this was. They didn't want to pay extra for it. They didn't want to borrow the money. They want their leaders to be responsible. They want that, and they deserve that.
But they're not getting it.
No. But I believe, honestly, that there's also at this moment, because it's so obvious, right, the foolishness. Yes, the council and the mayor-elect are at the beginning, but they're not going to be allowed a honeymoon period because they have to dig themselves out of a hole that they helped to create. I mean, I know there's some narrative about the mayor-elect inheriting this problem.
Not causing the problem.
Like, yeah, no, if you're promoted inside of a business, a company that you are been helping to run and is struggling, you're not inheriting a problem.
No, you created it.
You helped create it.
Yeah.
And you wanted to take the big job on.
Here's your baby. It's your baby.
Or hopefully with understanding that you could help solve it.
Oh, Lord.
And the council members who've been reelected,
they're part of the
part
problem.
of it as well, and they understand what they signed up for.
But they seemed a little bit more nice today. You don't
well, they
think
didn't
so?
speak to us, so yeah. I mean, they might have been nice to other people, but yeah.
I thought they were at least trying to be, a little bit more nicer.
I mean, the bar's low after yesterday.
All right, I'm not gonna hold you no more, but please come back and talk to us some more.
Yeah.
And let's talk about your show. Your show is on
Tuesday at noon. Put housing first. We are going to have Jeff Thomas on Tuesday, where we're going to be digging in around everything that's on the ballot for on next Saturday.
Yeah, because he's good with that political stuff. So that is good.
And we're probably also going to be on Will Sutton's show on Monday.
So you can't go on everybody's show, and I just, I'm just sorry. I'm just gonna say, when I call, I can't hear. I was just on. No. But thank you so much, because that was really interesting, and now I got an understanding of what's going on.
Yep.
So we'll talk about it more, and then maybe if anything else, if you are on everybody's show, we can pick up the phone and call you too.
Yes, you can, absolutely. And anybody wants to talk, they can call the office 504-224-8300. 504-224-8300. Leave your message because it's after 5 o'clock now, and somebody will call you back.
And your show is on Tuesday.
My show is on Tuesday at 12 noon.
12 noon.
Put housing first.
There we go.
Yep.
All right, y'all. We're going to take a break. Are we taking a break? We're not? So I got to just tell Anjanika bye?
Okay, we can't. At least it wasn't, I don't know if you heard what happened on Tuesday. We had like hot mics the whole time.
That's what's going on now. We got hot mics.
Oh, well, yeah.
Oh, but y'all didn't know y'all had hot mics.
We
talking. All right, they can hear me now. Check to see if we are live on Facebook as well. Yes, indeed. We're back live. Okay, we're back live, y'all. You're right. Paul is saying, "Is this thing on?" What is that? Jeez. You try to get the information out, and all of a sudden, everybody's saying, "Like, I can't hear you." Hey, Leslie Tom. So anyway, yeah, Galloway, you can call us back. I guess you hear me now. Answer the phone. Galloway's like, G, hey. I guess he couldn't hear me at all. But it is what it is. Yeah, we're back. Thank you, Tandra. I don't want to get, so far that I just don't understand what's going on. And that's how I felt today. Because I was trying to watch the city council meeting about the budget when I heard Andronika walk up to the microphone, and she said, "This seems to be some type of political sabotage." And when she said that, it made me stop in place and say, wait a minute. How in the world can we get to political sabotage on something that is supposed to be already done? So that's why she explained it. Galloway.
What's going on, Brother G?
I'm sorry you couldn't hear me earlier, man. This again, we being sabotaged.
Oh, no, brother. Ain't nothing shaking but the leaves on the trees, and they wouldn't shake if it wasn't for the breeze.
Yes, indeed.
It's all good, man. But, hey, first of all, shout out to WBOK and your guests. I was confused on the language about Proposition 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that your guests broke it down, now I understand why the pom-pom squad was out there telling people to vote yes for this. So it's a definitely no for me. Anything that they with, I'm against it. But she broke it down perfectly.
So I had a guest. Well, not a guest. I had a listener who was talking to me about Proposition 1 and why he's going to vote no for it. And when he was talking to me about it, I was not getting, and I had not realized the information. I'll put it that way. And this Proposition 1. And then today, when Andronika went to the microphone, she called it political retribution.
Mm.
And I'm like, what? Okay. So I started sending text messages to her saying, look, I know you in there, da-da-da-da. Can you come to the show and tell me about it? And she said, yeah. So when she broke that down today, it made me go, oh, okay. Now
exactly, because
now the person that got on the air last week and said no was John Kennedy, Joe Ken, and when he said no, he said it last week or earlier this week, one of the two, and he said no. But I haven't heard anybody else say why they not voting for it. Do they understand it? Because until this thing was broken down today, I'm just being honest with you, I didn't understand it.
That makes both of us, don't it? Because I'm telling you, I was confused. But now, how she has made me understand that $45 million is supposed to be guaranteed money.
Right.
Unless they got some, that's why I keep saying, Gerard, they got some backroom deals going on they're not being real with us about.
Mm-hmm.
And then just say if they did get the money, who is that money going to go to? Is it going to go to the people that own the $600,000 home, or is it going to go to the people that own the $100,000 home? Who's going to be in charge of distributing that money out? I don't think they're going to get it. Not from Jeff Clandry. You think Jeff Clandry is really going to try to get these folks some type of money for housing? One of the most important issues that drives the economy. Think about that. This man is trying to come take over the city. You think he really gonna help you? That's why I say we got to check the olive oil. We really got to check, and everybody that works with olive oil, because I think it's gonna be some sugary stuff going on, starting now. Because you know they and your guest before I get into this, your guest said something so perfect to me. There's blame to go around, and you cannot get that from anybody else besides black folks and black radio and black media. We ain't afraid to tell it.
No, more than likely, what we're dealing with and what we're hearing more of is pointing the finger to this administration and saying it's Cantrell's fault. That's it.
Yep. That's WWL, WDSU, WGNO. That's why I call them out every time. Every time they say something about pointing the finger at Cantrell administration, you know what I start talking about? I say talk about Olive Oil's relationship. Talk about Olive Oil doing her best Ricky Bobby impersonation. I say if y'all want to get in the mud and blame folks, I say I can point fingers and blame people also. I said if Helena Moreno, the city council president, does not know anything about all this missing money, when she becomes mayor, what is she gonna know then? She was in charge of the budget. As city council president, am I right or wrong?
No, she wasn't a city council president. She's the mayor. you talking about Cantrell?
No, I'm talking about Helena.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, she's a city council president.
Yes. Now she don't know anything. She don't know where this money is. She don't know how these people gonna do this or this and that. So what was you doing when you were city council president? It's not like, and your guest said it best. You didn't inherit anything, sweetheart. You created this mess.
No,
I'm watching these backdoor deals.
They did not inherit this. This is something that they created.
In housing, bro, don't play with folks' housing, man. Shelter in this economy. Listen, if you're trying to buy a house right now in Orleans Parish, you better get ready to spend over $300,000.
Yep.
And that ain't for no brand new house.
No, that's
me on that one.
A 300,000 plus house. It might be in a nice neighborhood, but you probably gonna get it in a middle class neighborhood.
And exactly. And don't forget, those middle class neighborhoods have good potholes too. Now you can't leave out the potholes because it's a lot that goes on with it. But my whole thing is, I'm so glad that you had somebody on your show today to break down Proposition 1. And I hope that my people in Orleans Parish that's voting, please listen and vote no. Because I'm definitely a no after the day. Yeah. But all right, G, man, thanks for taking my call. I got to get up out of here, man.
Thank you, brother. Always.
All right.
Michael.
Hey, G Money, how you doing, man?
Good, brother. How you doing?
Let me ask you a question. Why nobody's talking to Gilbert Montino, the guy that jumped over to Audubon Institute?
I have made it a point to say it out loud at least 15 times.
Can you subpoena him?
That they need to be able to use their power as the city council and subpoena him back to the city council and explain to people what was done.
Yeah, because he jumped ship. Audubon Institute give him a red carpet ride to Audubon. Come on, man. Come on, jump ship. And now you want to put it all on LaToya. I mean, I'm not saying some of this not our fault, but look, the elected mayor knew what was going on. The other yellow boy, as you call him, knew what was going on. And Gurley Smith knew what was going on. Those three that went up to Baton Rouge, all three of them know what was going on. And nobody said nothing during the election.
Nothing.
Nobody. Nothing.
Nothing during the election, and I would not be surprised if the information, because I believe in Romy Samuels. Romy Samuels showed everybody that she was sending these warning memos about what was going on, and that started last year in 2024. And she did it again at the beginning of this year. And she said, hey, look, I'm waving the torch to let y'all know we are headed to being broke.
And nobody said, I mean, they sit on that council board, the three musketeers sat on that council board, didn't say a thing, and they knew a hurricane of a deficit was coming, was down the road. They knew that.
And with all of this stuff, you know, what if there is a hurricane? How much money do we have to go to at least assure that we're gonna be safe?
Exactly. I mean, it's crazy. I'm gonna say one more thing, G. Thank God for WBOK. Like the brother said before me, BOK puts it out there on the line. BOK gives you the option to really look at it or say it ain't real. It's real on BOK. And I would vote for that guy, Calvin, any day, other than the political system over there. I would vote for him if I was living in Orleans Parish. I'll vote for him. Why nobody talking about the scandals going on in Jefferson Parish?
That's a good question. Because
Nobody
it
talks about
sounds
that.
like to me, from what I'm hearing from many people, that their financial situation is worse than ours.
We've been having a president missing in action for the last 4 years, and I'm not going to tell you to run the parish. Y'all have a great day.
All right, Michael. Thank you, brother. Yep, it's something. Something. So there is something else that I would have to throw in here, and I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but my guess is, yeah, it does. And y'all go back with me for a minute, because I want to talk about Gilbert Montano. Really? It went out? Oh, they can hear me, though. Lord have mercy. But as we look, after I talked to a couple of things, after I talked about a couple of things. One, how come your inspector general ain't said nothing, ain't doing nothing, has not been requested to be a part of the investigation? How come Waggis Pack, the legislative investigator, the auditor, hasn't really done a full audit on the system itself? How come none of this is happening? This is us talking, but nobody else is. What do you mean, Gerod? I'm talking about the ones that should be saying, hey, there's some shenanigans here. They are not. Mr. Buddy,
Hey, Gerard.
what's happening?
Been listening to this thing.
Huh?
Here's I've been listening to y'all. Yeah, I didn't vote for that city charter, but now the people have voted for it, they need to stick to it.
Do you
On the
think they
other
are?
hand, yeah, we're on. I can hear you.
No, I said, do you think that they're going to stick to that piece of the charter?
I don't know. Here's what I will say, though. I know you and Red Bottoms don't like each other. I got that, okay? But listening to the city budget hearings, and I listened to all of them at the last two, JP said something that's true. He said the city budget right now is nothing but a suggestion. It's not backed by law or city charter. It's a suggestion. And he's put forward the change to the city charter, which to put on the ballot next November to change that. So I'm just accepting the fact that what he's saying about that is true. Then the city council votes on the budget, but the mayor can run it however she wants to, without much of a penalty. And that's what I would leave y'all with right now.
So no. What's your beliefs in that scenario?
My belief, the city administration was totally leaderless. They were spending money. Everybody was having a good old time, running up overtime. And I'm not talking about just NOPD. I'm talking about across all the city departments. You notice you haven't seen, you've heard the NOPD mentioned, but you haven't seen a chart with every department spent this much on payroll and this much on overtime.
Mm-hmm.
When are you going to see that chart? And I'm talking about for this year. And for next year, are they going to produce an adopted city budget where every department will have their pay and their overtime budgeted?
So, but wait,
Are they
wait,
going to do that?
I was okay. All right. So let me tell you why I'm a little stumped about that, and I want everybody to really be on the same page here, because I think to just put Cantrell on one issue and not look at your mayor elect on another issue is actually, I think it's not true to the game. And I'm looking around and saying to myself, I could have sworn I saw her say that we have a problem because we only have one crew of people out there filling potholes. And she said, if I'm the mayor, what I'm going to do is hire 100 new people and put them out there on these things to fix these, to do these potholes and yada yada yada. Well, how you going to do that if you don't know what the budget is?
Well, when you're
How
the
you
mayor,
gonna hire? Because right now we on a
when
hiring
you're the
freeze.
mayor, evidently you can move money because there is no part of the city
Move what
charter that
money?
says you
Because
can't.
right now they saying they don't have no money. Move what money?
I don't know. They got to adopt the budget for next year. She doesn't take office till what, the 6th?
Yeah,
Or
but
the
the budget
11th,
got to be
something like
adopted by December.
Yeah, they'll adopt the month. They'll adopt the budget. But again, it's a suggest. If you listen to JP Morrell said, it's a suggestion. There's nothing in the city charter saying when we adopt this budget, you cannot exceed it without going back to the city council.
All right. Well, how about
True
all
or
the
not?
folks out in New Orleans East that's looking forward to having a satellite city hall that's going to be out there in New Orleans East? How you going to put the people up there? Where you going to put it at, and how you going to fund it? You don't have no money.
You don't know that. What you know is they haven't decided on the budget yet, and they hadn't made. And the revenue estimating probably needs to be revamped. So those are the two things you know. They haven't adopted a budget yet, and the revenue estimate needs to be revamped.
And they cut 20% of everybody's budget. 20%. If I don't have the money, that's when I'm going to cut you. If I got money, why would I cut 20% of your budget?
That's Cantrell's budget.
She's the mayor
That's right.
for next
She
year.
won't
So
be the mayor next
who am
year.
I supposed to listen to?
What's their batting average so far? 160 million unaccounted for.
Well, from what I'm listening to, that we got what, $40 million that we know where it went, and a couple of
Well, is that
a
40
lot of
million
other money
just
we
for
don't
the
know where it went.
NOPD, or is that across the city?
That's across the city.
I haven't seen any chart that depicts each city department's expenditure of overtime and that it adds up to 40 million.
Well, if you're watching if you're watching all of the city council folks, you've seen the departments come and sit in front of them. All the departments, housing, the sheriff's department, all the departments are coming sitting in front of the city council now.
Yeah, but they didn't say how much they spent on overtime in 2025.
Yeah, they did.
Each department?
No, not all of the departments, but
Oh,
every one
okay.
of them had their expenditures and what it cost them
But it was
on the
lump
screen.
sum. Those expenditures were lump sum. It never showed overtime by department.
All right.
Go back and look at the charts.
Okay, good enough.
All right. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. Did we break? Did we break? Oh, you can't break? They still got a problem with this thing? Oh, Lord. Yeah. No matter how I look at this, or my folks that are also looking at what we're doing and how we do it, I want us to get the monies that are supposedly your money, my money, to do better services for infrastructure and all the resources that make this city tick. How does that work? And how did we get here? That's an interesting issue, huh? How did we get here? How did we get here? Mm-hmm. Well, I don't look at this as, oh Lord, let's blame. I want it fixed. Does that make sense? Then after it gets fixed and we can at least have some type of corrections made, then I want all those folks that are supposed to be the investigators, the person that's supposed to be looking over governmental expenditures. Y'all know that's the inspector general, to tell us where it went wrong. Because this man ain't saying nothing. And that's his job. Because I don't even care if you just keep telling me that, oh, it came from the police force. Oh, it came from the police force. What was that, 45 million? Well, ding dong, I got to tell you, we're 160 million in the hole. Let's take that 45 from the 60 and what you got? 115 now. Where'd the rest of the 115 go? Where'd it go? Oh, well, this department spent. I just don't think so. And I'll go back and say it again. You know, I think some folks are just very scared to really tell you where the money really went. And they will not say where it's gone. All right, a few minutes left here. Don.
Hey, man, I was just contemplating what you were saying, man, about the IG. And I think the thing is, you're not going to hear anything from him right now because Noonan, man, got him running so much that he's trying to cover up everything that's happened so that he won't get out, put out of office. So you're not going to hear anything from him because I think Noonan, man, and the things that he's asked for is just so crippling to this guy that he's not going to say anything about anything except trying to cover himself up and not get taken out of office because of what he's done.
Might be.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with him. So I just wanted to call you. I know you're getting late on time, but I wanted to call and put that out in the air that I don't think the man's going to say anything.
So one of the things I tell you though, Don, one of the things I will tell you, it ain't just him. He's got 4 or 5 folks in his office. All right.
Right.
So you got other deputy inspector generals as well as just inspector generals also that work underneath you. So he don't have to do the work himself. He got a team.
Right.
And
that's
your team
true.
can get together those papers. You can get together some of them. Everybody can do some work. Do the work. That's all I'm asking. Just do the work. Let us see. And everybody keep telling me that has, some familiarity with this. They're saying that You may not want to see these telephone call lists and all this other stuff that he has because it might blow the city up. And I said, every time we get close and every time we make it a point to do or say something about an official that is a hired assassin or an official with the city of New Orleans, those same folks come out and say, oh, man, you may not want to see that. It's going to blow the city up.
Right.
I'm sorry. The city ain't blown up as of yet, and I don't think it's going to blow up. Give me the damn paperwork.
And I think, too, Gerard, that a lot of the people in the council don't want to call Gilbert Montano because I think, too, he's going to end up putting a lot of them under fire when if he ever comes up and tells exactly what happened, because he's going to tell it. Everybody knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And they don't want to hear. They don't want nobody to hear all that coming from the horse's mouth. So I don't think they're going to do anything about calling him up. I think he's gone his way, and he probably has so much on all these folks that they don't want to see him anymore.
Well,
so we'll see what happens in the near future. But I think it's bleak that either him or the IG is going to come forward.
I'm just saying, I'm gonna go back to old spiritual Negro hymn that says, "Call him up, tell him what you want."
Tell him what you want. Exactly. Well, we'll see what happens, Gerard. You have a good evening, man. Thank you.
You do the same, Don. Appreciate you, boss.
Okay, brother.
All right. Tomorrow, coming in to do her due diligence, we got the attorney, Suzette Bagnaris, who's going to join us. And she's going to be here holding court. Dun-dun-dun-dun. There are a couple of things we're going to talk about. I think I said when I got off the air yesterday, acting like the day was supposed to be Friday. Lost track of days. I apologize. She will be here on tomorrow. Hopefully we can keep this thing on. Are we back yet? How you going to do this? You can't play those songs or nothing? Wow. Well, I apologize, folks. Y'all might be able to hear me and hear me, but there are still technical difficulties happening at the station. Seems to be happening a little bit more frequent now than ever before. Maybe it is about the stuff that we talk about. Did I? I said something? What'd I say? I jinxed it. I ain't jinxed nothing. So, Arnie and Will, Arnie and Carrie coming up to have more conversation with you. You probably hear everything that we get ready to do and change out and all that other good stuff. But we got to do it that way because there's something going on with the controls of the board. It's all computerized, so they're having some issues with it. All right. That's going to wrap things up for me. I appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow with the attorney. And that is Suzette Bagnaris. And we'll talk some more, y'all. Y'all have a great rest of the day. Huh? Oh, okay. Oh, you trying to be the bait and switch? That's what it is. So I was talking last time I was talking to Carrie. I said, man, we're gonna try to get you in there and get these numbers right. Huh? So I'm gonna try to get him in here and get the money. Really? Okay. Well, I'm gonna move out the way. That's what I was telling you. I'm getting out the way. Carrie and Arnie are coming up next. Y'all have a great rest of the day. You got this one, man. This is what you call rigging it. All
All right. Good evening, everybody. We're having a few technical difficulties, so we're trying to make this work. This is the Arnie and Carrie show. Arnie will be here in a minute, and we're going to talk about, I'm sure, some of the same issues that we've been having for several days, and talk a little bit about the election that's coming up and some other things that are going on. I'm going to start the show while Arnie's getting ready to come in. And I'm going to start the show by talking about something that I did today. And this morning I went